You know, he didn't even cry for them. Like, I've cried more for them than he has. Like, who does that?
I was diagnosed with some health challenges, and then I met Chris. I was in a really, really, really bad place, and I got a friend request from Chris on Facebook, and I was like, oh, what the heck, I'm never gonna meet him. Except, well, one thing led to another, and 8 years later, we have 2 kids, we live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Chris worked for an oil company. He was a mechanic. And Chris was quiet, but he was real friendly about helping people with the cars and stuff like that. And Shanann was a marketing person who was able to work from her house. That's what gave her the opportunity to stay at home with her children, which was her #1 passion. Bella was 4. She was definitely more the quiet thinker. Really happy, really go-lucky. She would always wave and say hi whenever we were out in the backyard and they were outside playing. Cece was 3, and she was an absolute firecracker. And it would always make you smile just to hear her laugh because she had that really loud, just belly laugh. Chris and Shanann seemed to be wonderful parents.
We did it again. Really?
Really.
That's awesome.
Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant with a little boy that she was going to name Nico.
The drama began shortly after the Frederick Police Department received a call from Nicole Atkinson, the best friend of Shannon Watts. She had arranged to drive Shannon into town that same day for a pregnancy checkup, but there was no answer when she knocked at the door, nor any response to her text messages or phone calls. After noticing her shoes were still at the front door, she became concerned and called 911.
Of a party who's checking on a friend who's pregnant, who's not answering the door. County Communications, this is Stacey.
Hi, Stacey. My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. She's 15 weeks pregnant, and she wasn't feeling well over the weekend, and I have called and texted. I've come to her house. She's not answering the door. She's not responding to text messages, phone calls. I've had other friends reach out to her. None of us can get her to respond to us, and her car is here.
What's her name?
Shanann Watts.
And her husband's name is?
His name is Chris Watts. I just want to know if she's okay.
Yet the fact that Chris made the officer wait for his return would have most likely alerted some minor suspicion. In normal circumstances, a husband receiving a call from the police saying they were concerned about the safety of their pregnant wife and children, in most cases, would have given them permission to immediately kick the door down. It's a truly somber awareness to know that the man stepping out of the car had only a very short time ago dumped his infant daughter's bodies into an oil tank and buried his pregnant wife in a shallow grave.
What's Chris's phone number? Hey, Chris, Officer Coonrod for the police department. Pretty good. So, do you have any idea where your wife is? Okay. Right. Well, my concern is her car's here. They're saying she is diabetic. I don't want her if she's upstairs and can't respond. About how far out are you? Okay. All right. Thanks. This female is diabetic. Unknown if she is home, though. Husband is on his way.
Reassurance. Chris remains silent, but instead feels the need to examine his wife's car before subtly sneaking through the internal garage door. He then disappears for 1 minute and 7 seconds before letting the neighbors and police officer inside. Only Chris will know what he carried out during that time period, but it's safe to assume that his curious behavior was not going unnoticed, made evident by the unsettled gaze of Nicole as he opens the door.
Mind if I come in, Chris?
There were multiple key moments captured from inside the house, which may not have been noticed immediately by the officer, but would have no doubt been gathered by forensics upon further investigation. The most overt peculiarity was Chris's interaction with his phone. The guise of his thumb movement would have given the impression he was texting someone, which would have seemed very peculiar, as the normal response would be to frantically call people rather than text. The rest of Chris's conduct could be analyzed and dissected in various ways, and it would be easy to pick at certain oddities in body language and link them with signs of guilt. Yet, without the hindsight we have now, his behavior could just as easily be linked with an innocent man who is understandably concerned and frantic over the disappearance of his family. His very conservant neighbor, however, had the perceptual advantage of knowing Chris on a semi-personal level, and could analyze his kinesics in a far more accurate manner than the police officer.
You just want to...
I knew that my security camera would catch any of Shanann leaving or someone coming in the house or her leaving with a friend.
Nate came forward and showed the police that surveillance video, and Chris was there too, and all this was captured on the body camera.
If any action would have happened, any cars or anything left your house, I would have...
It would have been like right in that area. It should have picked me.
Oh, it'll pick up anything coming down the street this way.
You know where that trigger is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
At 5:27 a.m., I had noticed that there was a motion on my camera of Chris backing his truck up into the driveway and then into the garage.
We usually park out there on the side. I just want to get everything back in. It'd be easier to lug everything out there, all the tools that I had to bring in.
What the video shows is Chris making several trips from the garage out to the driver's side of the vehicle, which is on the other side of the car from the angle that the camera is placed. So you can't see what, if anything, he's putting in the car per se.
Loading my stuff up in my coolers, my water jugs, my book bag, my computers, some of the tools that I have in the toolbox. I knew I was going to have to do some pumping into rubbers today.
No.
He's never rocking back and forth. He never loads his stuff in and out of the garage ever.
Right.
To be completely honest with you, my wife and I were kind of wondering when she was on vacation if something happened, because I've heard them full out screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, and he gets crazy.
Does he? And that's pretty recently?
Yeah. He doesn't look worried. He looks like he's trying to cover his tracks. He's normally quiet, real subdued. He's over here telling you 3 times what he took out, what he did, what he did. He's very, he never talks. So the fact that he's over here blabbing his mouth makes me kind of suspicious.
This was just after...
You guys have any kind of issues, marital issues, or?
We're going through separation.
You are? Did you guys file it yet or anything, or just talking about it?
No, we're gonna sell the house and do a separation.
How's that going?
It's going
Civil for the most part, or?
At that time, of course, we're thinking, is she just emotionally upset because they're having marital issues and she's taken off? Is she so distraught that maybe she's done something to herself, to her girl?
The camera on the front of Nathan's house shows that truck leaving at 5:45, and the part of a thorough investigation at a very early stage is creating a timeline. What time did the husband leave? Where was the wife? Where were the children at these particular times? And they're really starting to fill in those gaps.
Chris, I had noticed that he wasn't watching the tape. He was looking down at his phone a lot, he was looking away a lot, and every time he did say something, he was trying to prove a point.
No cars came through, because I guarantee with the headlights, it picked up the headlights automatically.
And my villain said that at 5:27, my garage door was left open.
I definitely was watching Chris's body language, and at that point in time, he definitely could have been freaking out because his wife was gone and his children were gone. I just personally thought the way he was acting was a little strange. As a father, my eyes would have never left that screen.
Tonight, police issued a missing endangered alert for Shannon Watts and her 2 daughters. Her husband says she's been missing since Monday morning.
I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward.
So we're all watching Chris's first interview basically live on the 5 o'clock news.
Did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But it's just, I want everybody to just come home. Like, wherever they're at, come home. That's what I want. Like, Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back.
The concern that he professed to have for his wife and kids seemed very feigned, seemed very cold and calculated. Even though people grieved differently, he was so extraordinarily calm.
What do you think happened? At first, I really thought maybe she was just at somebody's house, just decompressing. Yeah. But after today, like with the onslaught of, all the police cars, all the news, all the K-9 units, it's making me lean the other direction about someone took her. Okay. And it's freaking me out.
I was able to watch a live feed video of the interview as it was happening, and it was extremely important to get a baseline story from Chris.
This husband whose wife and children are missing, he's the last one to have seen them. He can give us the information that we need to help find them.
Special Agent Coder had Chris actually write out a written statement, and so they spent, several hours going over Chris's statement in great, great detail.
So, 1:40 a.m., doorbell detects the visitor. It showed Nicole dropping her off. Okay. 2 a.m., Shanann gets in bed with me. 4 a.m., that's when my alarm goes off for work. Start having a conversation with her about having the house up for sale and talking about it, actually proceeding with the separation. Okay. And it gets pretty emotional because we have 2 beautiful kids and we have one on the way.
At that point,
The disappearance of a pregnant Frederick woman and her 2 children has captured the nation's attention.
Shanann Watts and her 2 young daughters haven't been seen in the last 2 days.
Police say Watts, who is 15 weeks pregnant, and her 2 daughters, Celeste, age 3, and Bella, age 4, haven't been seen since Monday morning, gone without a trace from the family's home in Frederick.
At that point, we had Shanann's phone. And some of the things that we were learning from going through Shanann's phone is that she had been talking to a lot of her girlfriends about Chris becoming very distant. They had even talked about counseling, and Chris was resistant.
It was very emotional. We were both crying. And at the end, we just said, she said she was going to take the kids to her friend's house for the day. And she would be back. Okay. I was like, okay.
Looking back on that conversation, can you connect the dots between both of you being upset and crying, and here we are, and now she and the kids are gone?
I think about, did I cause this? Did I make her feel like she needed to leave? Maybe she sat there and thought about it, do I really need to stay here right now? If he doesn't love me, maybe I should just go. It seemed like Chris was definitely taking a small portion of responsibility for her disappearance. But I felt like Chris was not being honest and was not telling the complete story. At that point, Special Agent Coder really needed to kind of turn up the heat.
The day she goes missing is the day that you guys have marital discord. So you can understand what I'm thinking about you.
Yeah. Makes me sleep in my stomach, honestly. This is something that I would never do.
Are you telling me the truth?
I'm sorry. That's so true.
Why should I believe you?
Because I'm a very trustworthy person. We really hadn't seen any emotion from him up to that point, and we wanted to see if maybe faced with the pictures of the people that he said he loved and that are missing, to see if that would elicit any more information or any emotion from Chris.
Celeste loved those shoes, even though they were winter shoes, but she loved those shoes. She always loves those shoes. And Bella, she loved that dress. She loved those flip-flops. She was a girly girl.
If he is hoping and believing that they're still alive, so why would you start talking about them in past tense?
That they had not known before. We looked at Watts's phone. It was revealed to investigators through text messages, photographs, emails. that he very clearly and for quite a period of time had been having an affair with a coworker at the oil company that he worked at. He had been lying to Graham Coder the day before. If you're going to be deceitful with law enforcement about that, what else have you been deceitful about?
It changes for us the possible motive. If Chris did do something to his wife and children, this could be the catalyst for that. Or if she left, did she really know about this other person?
I hope that, if you did have something to do with their disappearance, it would be really stupid for you to come in and take a polygraph today.
Exactly.
Right? It would be really dumb. You should not be here right now sitting in this chair if you had anything to do with Shanann and the little girl's disappearance, okay?
I was putting Chris on high alert that the truth was about to come out and everyone was gonna know what it was. I definitely wanted to see if Chris was going to keep lying about the infidelity, so I brought up if he was having an affair.
Did she accuse you of anything?
Being a woman, she's like, is there somebody else? I'm like, no, there's nobody else.
Did she seem like she believed that?
When I told her there's nobody else, yeah, she knows that I wouldn't do that.
Find out.
To her.
Did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance?
No,
Are you lying about the last time you saw Shanann?
no,
Do you know where Shanann is now?
no.
This portion of the test is complete. Please remain still while I take the instrument out of operation. Got the results, okay?
When I walked back in the room with Special Agent Coder, my attitude had completely changed on purpose. I was no longer Chris's friend. I was no longer this joyful investigator that's just here to administer this polygraph. Now I'm here for the truth.
You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay.
I did not lie on this polygraph. I am.
It's not even an option right now because you did not pass the polygraph, so I know you were being deceptive. So that's not even an issue right now. The issue right now is what happened to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste.
I want them back home,
But you know they're not coming back home.
I was shutting down his continued plea for his wife and kids to come home, because at that point we knew that was not going to happen. And I felt like he had done something horrible to his wife and the kids.
This is where the rubber meets the road, Chris.
Immediately after he's confronted with the deception, within just a couple of minutes, he starts to offer investigators a reason as to why maybe he showed deception on the polygraph. And he chooses the most innocuous thing that he could possibly admit to.
I cheated on her. I'm not proud of it. So I don't want to get her involved in this. I don't want to ruin her life.
We knew all about Nikki. So we didn't need to ask you about her in the polygraph. We just didn't need to, because we knew, okay?
Special Agent Coder kind of adds that in at the end, We knew way more than we're letting on. It was just kind of the gateway to finding out what the bigger lie was, because we knew it wasn't just about the affair.
This should have been a time in your marriage where you guys were happy and thriving and productive, okay? And I believe that Shanann's the reason none of that happened.
It's common in these types of cases that there's some victim blaming, so that it's easier for the suspect to say, yeah, it wasn't all just me. I did it because they pushed me to it, or I was forced to do it. Giving Chris a possible reason as to why this would have happened.
I believe that she's a controlling person. Maybe doesn't listen to you as much as she should. I think that she can do whatever she wants and you can't.
Agent Coder and Agent Lee are providing him other alternatives, other possibilities as to what may have happened, other reasons that something may have happened, in an effort to try to see what his reaction is going to be.
Chris, did Shanann do something to them?
No, I don't know.
I'm serious.
I have no clue.
No, you wouldn't know because they didn't leave the house. Did Shanann do something to them, and then did you feel like you had to do something to Shanann?
They were at the house when I left. They were there.
Vilifying Shanann, it's a technique that we can use to eventually get the actual truth. We just needed to find Shanann and the girls.
Maybe Shanann did it, and you felt compelled to fix this so Shanann didn't look bad. I feel like you cleaned up for her. But I don't know.
What's wrong with anything, or His polygraph failed it. Too much emotions. So I mean, they're not gonna let me go.
Is any reason why they shouldn't?
They know I had an affair.
Anything else you want to tell me? What's going on?
I don't want to protect her.
What?
I don't want to protect her.
She hurt him?
Yeah. That's how I hurt her.
You hurt her? Well, you guys want to?
When I was downstairs, they came back up and they were gone.
Did she kill him?
They were blue.
She took both of them to death.
I freaked out at the champagne with her.
So she killed OCC and Bell. Took them to death.
That's rage. I hadn't.
And I don't know, you're not telling me that, so makes me think the worst. Like, did you do that to all three of them?
I did
Like,
not do anything to these kids.
He was definitely more deflated. He was kind of hanging his head down. He kind of seemed exhausted from it all, honestly.
Can I talk to my dad or something? I just can't talk to my dad. Like, I flew across the country.
Watts makes a request of the investigators to speak to his father. They have to make a decision on the spot. They don't have an
where are they?
At that first location I went to that day. That's every 319.
So, Chris, are they in something? Are they under the ground? Like, where would you find them? You take us out there?
I thought there's no way I wanted to walk there. Are they all three out there, Chris? Yes.
Chris talked about the area being very vast. He talked about it being maybe 10 miles by 20 miles. So to me, it was very, very important that he actually describe in detail where they were at that site, just because there were so many different places where he could have buried them or hidden them.
What is that?
It's the every 319.
Okay. Whereabouts is Shanann and the girls? Okay, can you mark it for me? The S for Shanann, okay. And where are the girls at?
Here. Are they in the tanks?
What's in the tanks?
It's a mixture of oil and water.
When Chris told his father that Shanann had killed the girls and that he had then killed Shanann, even though I didn't necessarily believe his version of events and I didn't buy into his description of how it went down, there was a sense that we were progressing.
The last time we talked to you, it was a different situation, right? Our investigation was open and your case was open. All of our cases are you available to talk to us?
Definitely.
Okay. The last thing we talked about was where the girls were. But we never really got to talk about that night. So what happened?
I told her I didn't love her anymore. And that's what happened. I got on top of her. And every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of her?
He talked about having the conversation while he's sitting on her and she's telling him to get off, you know, you're hurting the baby, and he doesn't get off. And at one point she tells him, you're never gonna see the kids again. And that's immediately when he starts strangling her.
So what happened next?
Yeah, she had her opening blanket with her. She's like, what's wrong? Mommy.
And where was Shanann at that point?
Yeah, she's pretty much on the bed, but she was face down.
Bella understood what was happening or saw what was happening. In Chris's mind, what do you do with your daughter that just is witnessing your wife dead on the bed? Did he feel like he had no other way to get out of this without doing the same to his daughters.
So she followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. Okay. And then what?
Put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck and then grab the kids and put them.
So you put Shanann in the truck, and then you put the two girls in the truck. Shanann was back there too.
She was on the floor.
What did they say about Shanann being on the floor?
Mommy, okay?
What did you tell them?
She'll be fine. I didn't want the girls looking at Shanann while they were in the back seat.
So what'd you do?
I put a trash bag on one end and on her feet and on her head so they didn't have to see.
We had never, nobody had ever contemplated, that I recall, in any discussion, that the girls were alive when he drove them out to the oil side.
When I was driving up there, I mean, they were just, kind of asleep or kind of just like, holding on to each other, laying in each other's laps.
They were alive in your truck. You now had an hour to drive out to the oil site, and at no point did he decide to spare their lives, and it made no sense to us.
I took Shanann out, and then
What were the girls doing when you were doing that?
just sitting in the back of the truck. CC was first.
He used his hands to cover her mouth and her nose and smothered her to death. As soon as he knew that Cece was dead, he took her out of the truck. All the while, Bella is sitting in the truck, watching her dad walk up to the oil tank and drop her sister inside.
And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
Did the same thing.
Chris told us that every night when he closes his eyes, he hears Bella yell, "Daddy, no." I feel like it's kind of what he deserves. I hope he hears that every night.
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He helped me snuggle to